Started. There we go. There. Try this one more time. Now transmitting via YouTube. There you go. That should do it. That should do it. Okay. Let's resolve that very quickly. Sure. Easily resolved. Okay. Just say to those who are on YouTube. Any problems, just start it up and running. Just send a message through to me, and that'll be fine. YouTube is fine. And of course, those of you who are watching us via YouTube, you can always, of course, send a message via YouTube, if you wish to interact with me during the show. That's another way of doing this. Okay, so it's time to get this show on the road. So we just take that down, and there we go. So this is the Motivator Show, usually alongside Lady Chelsea's PhD. She's studying. I'm not going to interfere. We've motivated her to take the PhD, to widen her perspectives. That's what we want to do here, to motivate people to action, to improve, to strive towards a better future for themselves, their families, indeed, our community. Job done. Don't worry, there'll be other presenters, co-presenters with me soon. It's not a problem. The purpose of this show is to motivate. But before I begin the show properly, what I want to do is to give praise and enough respect to Jaian King, who's taken us from night to day. Jaian King, long may you stay well and prosper. Thank you, my brethren. Thank you for your determination. I also want to give recognition, of course, to the Galaxy management, those visionary leaders of the community who recognize the importance of us possessing and owning, controlling a media platform that reflects our worldview, our attitudes, our viewpoints on a whole range of social, political, theological issues. GalaxyAfiwi.net fulfills that mandate, a wholly community-funded media platform. Don't take commercial advertising, wholly funded by the community. So I want to give praise and respect, of course, to Nana. I was about to say chief, but I wasn't saying chief. It's Nana Bakambabai. Yeah, I say praise be to you, sir. Praise be to you. Praise be. I want to recognize, of course, applaud Elder Eric Rutte, that visionary, inspired, highly intellectual elder. I want to give praise to you, my elder. I want to make sure that I recognize you each week, and I hope that you, wherever you are at the moment, you are well, you are thinking, you are writing, you are sharing your thoughts. Praise be, my elder, praise be. I want to recognize and rise up Dr. Abul Ratata. Why? His lady wife, his dedication to his wife is a testament to how a loving relationship can last a lifetime. I want to give praise to you and your lady wife. I know she's not well, but I know because that love and bond between you, that she will always be well in your presence. Praise be to you both. Praise be to you both. I also want to give praise and recognize to the longest serving piloteer, Nickel, the most royal. I love that name. My brethren, long may you continue your stalwart works. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I want to give a special rise up and a special recognition to the solutions finder, to Empress Shanice. Long may you, my Empress, have listened to your shows this past few weeks. Such an inspired series of informative, African-centric shows. Long may they continue, and long may you be strong in good health. Long may you be so. Thank you, my empress, thank you. The solution finder, she doesn't complain. She just looks for solutions, way forward, way to growth, way to aspire. Praise be, praise be. I also, of course, must give special recognition to our technologists, the engineers, in recognizing that this platform must continue to adapt. And at this point, I'm always reminded of my most regular visitor to this program. That's, of course, Ndidi Ichilwa, a wonderful series of articles where she gives a reflection of both African, particularly Nigerian life. But one of those articles, which was a really profound article, where she noted, it is not Africa's natural resources that's the source of its wealth. It's actually the technologies that derive from those natural resources. So I want to give praise and recognize you, Ndidi, and recognize and applaud the technologists that allowed this radio station to go for more than 35 years, from FM to digital radio. Now we're transmitting simultaneously on YouTube, Facebook, and Mixcloud. Yeah, that's a powerful legacy. This program can be found on The Space Motivator Show, yeah, on YouTube, on Facebook and Mixcloud. If you not only wish to hear, but see and gaze upon the backdrop I've created for this show, which will have a very special subject, which I'll come back to later on. In recognizing the galaxy management, I'm recognizing the importance of organization and why it's critical that we continue to organize and working together, not allow petty individual differences to override the strategic importance of working together as a community, Africans from the Caribbean, Africans from the continent, not allowing class or qualifications or income levels, yeah, or indeed theological affiliation to be a barrier to us working together. Strategically speaking, it is critical that we continue to work together as a community. Note, one community, but many characteristics. Anyway, so let me now move on and give praise to you all again. Let me give praise to you all again. What I want to do is address this fundamental issue of health. I do it every day, every week in my program because it's a fundamental issue. We must talk about our health. We must seek to be healthy, actively seek to be healthy. Okay. And this week, not only have I met people who applauded the health section of this program, but some who were detracted and challenged the integrity of some of my words. Okay? Although I emphasize I'm not an expert. Okay? I'm but a humble elected official, little councillor here in London. Okay? So I see people, I see the realities of our community, and therefore the importance of discussing these matters week in and week out, strong in and strong out, because they are crucial to our health and well-being. So before I begin this part of the program, I want to address a subject that I was challenged by. I'm not sure why I was challenged, but it was a useful challenge. I like being challenged. I will rise to a challenge. The veracity of my quoting Professor Hilary Beckles, his seminal speech on diabetes and hypertension amongst Africans in the Caribbean. He is the Vice Chancellor of the Universities of the West Indies, one of the top 100 universities in the world. He gave a seminal speech noting the endemic position amongst Africans in the Caribbean affected by diabetes. So what I'm going to do before I go into my health section, I'm going to play a video of the original speech, only 2 minutes from it, but the relevant 2 minutes that pertinent to this health section. Okay, another time I can play the whole speech, but for now, just 2 minutes of it, the relevant section. I wish you all to hear it. And the persons who challenged me on the veracity of my quoting Professor Hilary Beckles. Okay, that's fine. I love being challenged. My integrity, I stand by it. So let me just share the screen with you all. I get this to work without any problems. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, there we go. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to make sure you hear his voice, not my voice, his voice. A highly educated African man in the Caribbean, okay, discussing our health and what the University of West Indies are doing to address this most crucial of issues. So let me begin presentation now. Here we go. Let's maximize the page. There we go. Those of you who are on YouTube and Facebook, you can see this for yourselves. Those of you who are listening to us via galaxyfreeway.net and Mixcloud, you can hear his voice. Here it goes.
Then you have to move to deal with health, because health and illiteracy are linked. We now have in the Caribbean an explosion of chronic diseases.
I'm going to start that again, just so you got the beginning.
Then you have to move to deal with health, because health and illiteracy are linked. We now have in the Caribbean an explosion of chronic diseases. We have 60% of the black people in the Caribbean over the age of 60 have hypertension or diabetes, or both. Now, if you take the single criterion of chronic diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, if you take that simple criterion, the black people in the Caribbean are the unhealthiest people on the planet. And you have to understand that. On the one hand, we are watching Usain Bolt and we're watching the Caribbean athletes. We're watching the Caribbean with an image of being the most athletic people on the planet. But beneath that image of these super sportsmen and women is the hard reality that we are now the sickest people on the planet. In every black family in the Caribbean, hypertension and diabetes is endemic and congenital. In my family, almost everybody over 60 has hypertension and diabetes. And it's the same for your families, for all of our families. There is an explosion of ill health in the Caribbean. And this is a legacy of slavery and colonization. You take a people, put them on an island for 300 years, give them salt fish and salt pork every day, overwork them, undermine them, sell their children, rape their wives, make them work 20 hours a day, overwork, malnourish, and take them through that stress profile of physical and mental terror. What you get? Hypertension and diabetes. It was the same then as it is now.
I'll stop it there. I'll stop it there. I'll stop it there. Pretty profound. 60% of the population, African population in the Caribbean, above the age of 60, suffering from diabetes or hypertension. Okay. Just let that sink in. The figures here in Britain or the United States are not much different. That's why I talk about this subject. Why is it not in the newspapers, you ask yourself? Why are we not screaming this fact from the mountaintop so that we can change our lifestyles, our habits? I'm not going there. I'm just going to address the issues week in and week out. We must take responsibility. We must be our own advocates. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say to you. So let's begin. You've heard his words from his mouth. I ask you, please, to consider the amount of sugar you're ingesting into your bodies. I ask you to think about the amount of spoons of sugar you put in your teas and your coffees, of those so-called fizzy drinks from the tin. Mm-hmm. Or the cakes that you might eat. Mm-hmm. Or indeed, when you go to the grocery store, you buy these kilos of sugar. I ask you to consider the amount of sugar you are ingesting. I equally ask you to consider the amount of salt you are ingesting. Mm-hmm. Salt you add to your food for what? Taste? Uh-huh. As he said, avoid the salt fish. Yeah. The long-term implications of salt and sugar, sugar and salt, diabetes, hypertension, has profound impact on your health. 60% of families in the Caribbean have members with either diabetes or hypertension, high blood pressure. And we can do something about it. That's why the Motivator Show and other shows like this exist. We need to reduce the amount of sugar, the amount of salt we ingest into our bodies. Do we need the extra sugar? Do we really need the extra salt? I paused, but I wanted to sink in, because the challenge to me was fascinating, the veracity of such a statement. I told the person, you just say attention. Don't take my word for it. I emphasize, don't take my word for it. Verify what I've said. If I'm wrong, please feel free to call in. If I'm wrong, feel free to call in. Okay? Because very often the challenge is really to reassurance. And I accept that. It's not malicious, it's reassurance that the information you're receiving is accurate. Okay. But I also ask you to consider not only the salts and sugars, but also the amount of fat and carbohydrate we're ingesting. Fats in your meat, you see the white streaks in your meat. Yeah, when you cook your meat, you see it, particularly if you grill it, you see it drop out. It looks like clear liquid, but that's fat. And when it congeals around your organs. Yeah. Or you're storing it inside your body. So you've got these large girth, okay? The large girth might be, for example, large arms, large bottoms, large thighs, large abdomens, yeah? In some people, some women look interesting, but honestly, the long-term health implications is profound. You're shortening your lifespan. Mm-hmm. Carbohydrates typically found in those flour-based products, or some of these root vegetables, such as the yams and potatoes. Yeah, ate in significant quantities has harmful impact on our bodies. We eat too much. That fundamentally is the problem. We eat too much of it. In moderation, all of these things are fine, but we eat too much of it for an extended period of time. Starch, rice, too much of it. Yeah, we convert to energy, but we store the energy in anticipation of our need. Yeah. We eat too much of it. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of sugar, salt, carbohydrates, fat, starch that we're ingesting into our bodies. Okay. And I urge you to do the following: to increase the amount of fruits and leaf vegetables. I deliberately use the word leaf vegetables. Root vegetables are absolutely very healthy for us in the right quantum, but leaf vegetables are infinitely better. This is advice I've received from other nutritionists. But please don't take my word for it. Verify what I've said. Please speak to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist, speak to your pharmacist. You recall the nutritional pharmacist I had here some weeks ago, Elijah Timop, when he spoke about our nutrition. He suggested that we should eat no more than a fistful. Those of you could see my fist, a fistful. You know, can I do a fist? It's a question. Eat just a fistful of food per meal. We eat too much, he said. It is most critical that we drink the appropriate amount of water. And I seem to have lost my water. Oh, here we are. I'm drinking it here. We go. I've got my water handy. Yeah. At least 2 to 3 liters of water per day. What is the right amount for you? Please speak to your GP, to your nutritionist. They will tell you what is the right amount of water for you. More fruits, more vegetable, particularly leaf vegetable. Drink the appropriate amount of water, but got to exercise. Exercise is absolutely critical. A body does not exercise, you're telling your body to close down, to prepare to die. Yeah? And you can do better. You can do better. Exercise is critical. I have my weights here. Yeah, I do this every day, both, not only both arms, both legs. I run. I maintain that vigor. Yeah, because my body's saying, I need your exercise. Yeah, I'm sweating, and that's what my body is programmed to do. Yeah, enable me to ooze out the toxins from my body. That is what we are genetically programmed to do. Good food, plenty of water, and exercise are the essential ingredients to a long, healthy lifestyle. Anything else, you are challenging your long, healthy lifestyle. Forestalling it, possibly. I'm not an expert. I say possibly. You go verify what I've said. Please take responsibility for your health. You've heard the Professor Hilary Beckles, discussing this subject. Yeah. You've heard clinicians and pharmacists on this program discussing the subject. I urge you to take these messages seriously. Look around in your own families. Do you know someone with diabetes or hypertension? The other one, of course, is very prevalent in our community, is of course those respiratory conditions. Yeah. Improving our immunoresponse is critical. Good food, plenty of exercise, appropriate amount of water will help boost our immunoresponse to defend ourselves against those maladies, those viruses, those bacteria that pervade the environment. I hope at least 1 or 2 of you have heard these crucial messages. And I realize I take time out in every program devoted to this, but I do it because I've met far too many people with these conditions, lifestyle conditions, which are avoidable. Yeah, obesity Eating too much is a big problem in our community. Yeah. Isn't it absurd that we live in an age where the poorer members of the community weigh more than the richer members of the community? Isn't that absurd? That suggests there's something going on here, huh? What are those who are on moderate income eating that would cause their bodies to bloat and made them appear to be, you know, overweight? There was a newscaster in the US by the name of Kevin Samuels when he was looking at the numbers, particularly African-American women. 80% of African-American women are overweight. And of that, 80% of that 80% are obese. That's a health crisis if you've ever heard one. And you don't need to be a clinician to do so. I don't have the figures for the UK, but I'm seeking those figures out right now. Levels of obesity amongst our populations here in Britain. But I venture to suggest that the figures will make for uncomfortable reading. And lastly, if I may, I want to encourage you all to consider both your mental and your spiritual health. If in doubt, please go to your doctor. If you have in doubt about your mental health, you feel you need support, please speak to your GP. Equally, I encourage you all to consider your spiritual health. And now, of course, to raise your spiritual energies, meditation I've found to be incredibly helpful. Meditate for 20 minutes per day, where you push away all the cares of the world and you're able to focus your mind, clear your mind of all the troubles, and you're able to raise your spiritual energy. I'm assuring you that you will feel much better, far more invigorated, ready to take on the world after such exercises. In the future weeks, we'll do another show on our sexual health, but be assured nevertheless, these health messages are designed to motivate you. And you're listening to this program because you want to be motivated. So I hear you. I'm here to serve. Now I'm going to move on to the next section of the program. Okay, I've got some interesting guests coming in later on, but I want to just give some recognition, a big shout out to a number of my past guests and their contribution to the community. And for this part of the program, what I really want to do is to allow my past guests to be given greater recognition. Okay, but before I do that, I want to give a big shout out. And some of you remember I had guests who spoke to the Windrush scandal. Okay, and many of you remember Glenda, yeah. You remember discussing what the Preston Windrush group are doing in relation to lobbying the Home Office, indeed ministers and others. Okay, but I've been informed of an interesting lobby of Parliament that will take place on the Wednesday, the 13th of July. Okay, it's an online event. Okay, lobbying the MPs, etc. Okay, and those of you who want more information about this lobby, please send a message through to me here, and maybe if you could find my show via YouTube, send a message through to me, and I'll put the details of this event on the messenger via YouTube. Okay. Or I think we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Motivator. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
Actually, let me quickly pop in with this call. I don't know that you're gonna pick it up. My name is Onuwamade, and I am very, very intrigued about the health program you just made. Because last week when I listened to your program, when you were lifting up the weight and demonstrating that we have to tell our body to move and to do something, and if we don't do that, often we are telling the body to die. Then that really motivated me a lot. So by lying down, sitting down, listening to your body and doing according to what your body says, it's like you are killing. You have to move it.
Yes.
So I did not even wait to listen to the other program because I've been ill for some time and I'm a lot better. So I stood up. I said, "Come on, move."
Yes.
Well, you know, because before I'd be saying, "Oh, my leg," I'd be walking slowly. So I said, "No." I put on my track suit. I opened the door and I just went out, which I haven't done for about 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And instead of taking a slow stride, I started taking double strides. My son was with me and he was surprised. I said, "Didn't you hear what that man said on the program?" He says, "If you leave your body the way it is, you are getting it ready to die."
Yes.
And nobody wants to die. No. This body must move. Yes. This body must impact the world.
Yes.
I said, no, it won't happen. But I would like to share something with my co-listener.
Go ahead.
Which and this is about food. Somebody introduced me to somewhere in the YouTube, and it's about blood group and the food that you should eat. Because sometimes if we are giving the wrong, it's like if you give an elephant grass or you give a lion grass, they won't eat it.
Yes.
Everyone have got certain food that, correspond to their blood group.
Yes.
So I went to this YouTube, checked for my blood group and the food that I should eat and the food that I shouldn't eat. Then I find out that I have been eating certain food for all my life.
Right.
Which has not been okay for me. And since I stopped 2 weeks ago, I can see some changes. And I said to myself, how come they are not telling the world this?
That's right. Yeah.
And you see, most of this, I have nothing against medication. It's fine. It's good. It's going to heal. It's going to do everything. But I can assure you something. If you eat the right food and you do those exercises, the way you will go to toilet, the way you will shed those sickness out, you will forget about those tiny little things they are giving you to kill you.
Yes, this is true. You make a very profound...
Exercise,
I was going to say...
Exercise, please, my brothers and sisters. Don't say because that leg is paining you or you are feeling bad. Now, for example, in the morning, sometimes when I wake up, I feel tired. I just say to my son,
you motivate yourself, huh? You motivate yourself.
Yes, I say you must leave because you are a mentor, you are a grandma, you are this, you are that. Why are you sitting down? They are waiting for you. The phone is ringing. People are waiting. Get up.
That's right. Motivate yourself. Yeah. Go on.
Believe me, my brothers and sisters. Believe me. I am being I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. I'm not a motivator. But I'm just trying to share my own little experience. And if you follow it, believe me, you will testify. Absolutely. Go to the YouTube. Find out the food because if you are eating the wrong food, it's not going to do the right thing to your body.
That's right.
And then when it comes to salt, I use sea salt. I buy Celtic salt.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't use the ordinary white salt in the shop. No, I don't.
Yes, got to
you don't even need sugar. I eat green tea, teas. They are cheap.
That's right.
And if you are looking for a cheap thing, you are not looking for good health. That's why most of the poor people, like the motivator said, the poor people are getting fat.
That's right.
Because we are
Can you imagine?
Cheap things. Yes. Why looking at me? I don't eat chicken anymore because I just said to myself, it's too cheap.
Yes, it's too
everywhere,
cheap.
Chicken. No. I stopped chicken. Because this thing gets to your body. Remember, the chicken you are eating is not real chicken.
No.
So when it gets to your body, it becomes sugar, it becomes everything, and start doing all sorts of nonsense. Yes. Please, let us live. We must live, because if we don't live, we are not going to fight this next battle for our children and grandchildren coming. And it's a lot
if I may,
caller.
I've got my guest coming in shortly. I want to thank you for that testimony, okay? You are a testament to why I do the show, okay? You've been motivated into action to take care of your health. You've been motivated to believe in good health. You've been motivated to change your lifestyle. You've been motivated to look at the food you're consuming and to moderate and ensure those foods are appropriate for you. You're motivated, I believe, for love for self, your family, and those who you respect. That's why I do these shows. My guest has arrived. I want to thank you for taking the time. I hadn't opened the phone lines. I want to thank you for taking the time to call. Thank you for your testimony. I've made a note of your number, so we'll talk again during the week. So I want to hear more of your story. So I'll share that story with the audience in future weeks. But I want to thank you for being motivated enough to call and share your story, share your testimony with us. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. Thank you.
Thank you, Motivator.
Blessing. My blessings to you. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. There you are, audience. Okay. If I needed any affirmation, that call helped. That call most certainly helped. And I don't mind naysayers. Please, naysayers, please call. If you doubt the health messages, if you doubt the logic of what I'm saying, consider the amount of salt, consider the amount of sugar, consider the amount of fat you're ingesting, consider the amount of carbohydrate and starch you're ingesting. And my encouragement for you to increase the amount of fruits and green vegetables. Consider the amount of root vegetables you're eating in moderation. Yeah. Increase the amount of water, increase the amount of exercise that you do, to meditate, to raise your spiritual level, to become stronger physically and mentally. That's why we do these programs. This is the Motivator Show, where we translate our words into action. And remember, success is ours for the taking. Praise be, praise be. Right. Oh, I'm so fired up now. I am truly fired up. So let me go right into the purpose of today's show. Let's talk about cricket. Cricket is our game too. Those of you of a certain age will recall the West Indies cricket team to be in an indomitable cricket team. One that had so many stars, the list just goes on and on. Many of you remember Garfield Sobers, Malcolm Marshall. Oh, do you remember them, huh? I know. In fact, I'm going to get my guest shortly to talk about those cricketing greats shortly, just so that we got a better understanding of why cricket is our game. Yeah? I say again, cricket is our game. I want to encourage mums and dads, to encourage your sons and daughters to play cricket. Yeah, it's a good game to play. So at least once a year, I'd like to do a program on cricket. We're very much in the cricketing season. So I wonder, is my guest with us? Good morning, Lansdale, are you there? You hear us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, loud and clear. How are you, sir? How are you, sir?
I can't complain. I'm alive.
Ah, you can't complain. Huh? And do you like my backdrop? I've got most countries of the Caribbean and indeed Africa that play cricket.
I see you have a prominent Grenada flag there.
There you go. Wonderful, wonderful. These are the cricketing nations, okay? So I made sure we've got the Caribbean, the West Indies, I should say, team logo, of course. I've got Nigerians over this side. Where the Nigerians?
I'm not a lover of that particular logo.
Oh, well, okay, we won't go there for now, okay?
That logo has a red palm tree. I don't know. When I've seen the red palm tree, it's dying.
Ah, okay. Ah, that's interesting. I hear you. But if I may, I've got the Ghanaian here. Where's that? There we are. Okay, right. Oh, there's Ghanaian, and there's
Zimbabwe,
a Nigerian there. Okay. Dominican, I've got Malawi. Yeah, I've got Kenyan over this side. Oh, this side. This side.
The one directly over your head is my organization's logo.
This is you, indeed. I was going to get
directly over your head. Yeah.
No, wait, I was going to get there. I was going to point it that way. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The African Caribbean Cricket Association.
Yes.
In 2013. So let's talk about cricket, because it is our game. Let's talk about cricket. So Lonsdale, why form the African Caribbean Cricket Association? Why form? Tell us. Tell the audience.
Well, I'm an ex-professional cricketer. And
Who did you play for?
I played for Surrey.
Surrey, good.
And my native Guyana. And but I was brought up in South London. I've been here nearly 60 years.
Wow.
And I know that we love cricket in South London. Yeah. And was evident about like the crowds that turned up at the Ovals during the 70s.
Yes.
But there was I want to be not too controversial here, but there were some stories going around. There were some stories going around that Caribbean people didn't like cricket anymore. And the young people were more into football and rugby. Now, when they said football, it was something that was could be sold to me. But rugby, that is when I became extremely suspicious of what they were saying. Rugby has never been a part of us to the extent of taking over from a game like cricket.
Indeed.
Although we have more internationals playing rugby than cricket.
Yes.
So that drew my attention to it. And what I found out about the rugby people is that they were making a conscious effort to get us involved in rugby. They went around looking for these well-built young men.
Yes.
And put them into private schools, independent private schools.
Yeah.
And taught them the game.
Yes.
And what we're seeing now is through the work of the rugby governing body, with so many of those young black men playing rugby for England.
Yes.
Some for Scotland, Wales, and Ireland.
This is true. Yeah, this is true.
However, the cricket people were doing nothing for us.
Indeed. Yep.
We've been left for over 20 years with very little, if any, investment. And these stories were going out there. I think the stories, like I say, I don't want to be too controversial, but I am of the impression that it was something deliberate. And it convinced lots of parents that it was so.
Yes.
And a large part of our community believed that we fell out in love with cricket. Yeah. Being an old cricketer, I found that very difficult to accept. So along with a number of other cricket lovers, older Black African Caribbean men. We set up our organization in 2013. And it's taken us since then to finally get the ears of the English Cricket Board that we have not been treated equitably, not even equally. They have completely starved us of funding for that period of time. And if you do that to any organization, sports team, whatever, you are going to virtually kill it. A result of the starvation of funds in South London, in my estimation, we probably lost about 20, 25 teams. Really? So nationwide, that number must increase substantially. I will say over the last year, I think they begin to listen to us. I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it if it has been because we've been constantly probing them, or it's something to do with the Yorkshire incident.
What happened in
Yorkshire? Sorry?
What happened in Yorkshire?
We had a young Pakistani cricketer accusing Yorkshire County Cricket Club of racism.
Okay.
They investigated. They were reluctant to put out the results of the investigation. When they did, it was devastating. Wow. And it ended up in front of the select committee, and they did not come out of it very well, Yorkshire. I think, and the George Floyd incident with Black Lives Matter also helped us in certain ways. And since those two incidents, for want of a better word, like I said, they started to listen to us. And since I've criticized a number of organizations, I think it's only right that when they do well by us, that I also tell them thank you.
Okay.
Over the last...
If I may, Lonzo, just I'm getting right. So the organization was formed in response to investment by the football and rugby fraternity to identify our youngsters, to encourage them to play rugby and football, whereas the cricket authorities sat in their hand and did nothing. And as a result, cricket amongst our community declined over that time. And now that the Yorkshire Club has been investigated and found to have, if I may use this term, institutional racism attached. Indeed. Okay. Similarly, of course, for a number of other clubs, I have no doubt, to be honest with you. But anyway, but to talk about Yorkshire for now. Okay. The cricketing authorities, following the Parliamentary Select Committee investigation into the issue, has identified over a period of time a significant deficit or lack of investment in cricket amongst the black communities in Britain, particularly those from the Caribbean and of course from Africa. And your organization is there now to bridge that gap. Would that be right?
We were, like I said, we were there before Black Lives Matter and the Azim affair. But because of those two incidents, we've been able to get the ear, I think, of the English Cricket Board.
Oh, okay.
We've battled from 2013, so that's 9 years. 9 years, yeah. Just for them to listen to us and listen to us seriously about the needs of young men and women in our community as far as cricket is concerned. So since last November, the locally, Surrey County Cricket Club. To each cricket club or each county, there is what they call a cricket board or a cricket foundation. These are the organizations that get the money. They get the money from the English Cricket Board to dispense within their borders. So Surrey they get a regular sum of money from the ECB to dispense within the county of Surrey to recreational cricket, as they call it. Some call it club cricket. Right? We have not received any sum of money for over 20 years.
Wow.
And they, after a series of meetings, they have actually owned up to not resourcing our cricket clubs.
Wow. Hold on there. Hold on there. We move on, because that's such a profound, I was about to say observation. You should be stating fact.
Yeah.
On this program, I've looked at different aspects of British life, and in each direction I look, what I'm seeing is institutional racism. And while Britain is most certainly a progressive country, every direction we're encountering is institutional racism. 20 years not to fund and give financial support to cricket in our community. Your bodies representing sports. That's
well, they did say that, and I was glad that they did.
They apologize. Have they apologized?
Well, they've moved quickly.
Okay.
They moved quickly. I mean, all of this apology started in November of last year.
In writing or oral? Was it oral apology or was it in writing to you? Recognizing.
You don't know me. It had to be in writing.
Hey, go on, Longster. You tell them, yeah?
It has to be in writing. I'm an old man from the Caribbean.
Yeah. If it's an apology, get it in writing. Don't accept.
Yeah. Yes.
Must be in writing.
Yeah. Well, I very rarely deal with phone calls.
Indeed.
Yeah. So they've graciously said that they did not do it, and they intended to help us put that situation right.
Okay.
To their credit, since that time, we've got 2 cricket grounds to play our cricket matches.
Where is that, please? Where?
There's a Trevor Bailey ground on the South Circular, near to Dulwich College.
Okay.
And there is a ground called the Griffin in Dulwich Village.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like I said, they've moved really quickly, and they've been very supportive over these last few months.
I'm very pleased that both grounds are in my borough of Southwark.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh,
well, Lambeth, unfortunately, don't have only has 1 cricket ground.
There you go. Sorry, Lambeth.
And you know what that cricket ground that Lambeth has?
What's that?
The Oval. That's the only cricket ground.
Oh, I had to think about that, didn't I?
No, I'm sorry. This is what it is. That's the only cricket ground they've got in Lambeth. Not knocking Lambeth, just the Oval.
And I have to say to you, because I'm not a Lambeth councillor, okay, but I have to say, I recall back in the 60s and 70s when they're setting these grounds, It's like boxing,
Yeah.
And I wondered, why on earth would you sell these grounds,
Well, I think they're trying to make amends now by looking to get cricket grounds. Anyway, Surrey Foundation kindly got these 2 grounds for us. And I said, been very supportive. We've had a number of matches played at the Trevor Bailey Cricket Ground. The owners of Dulwich College, and they've kindly allowed us to use the ground. And it is a good cricket ground. And it's good for our cricket clubs because of the traveling, so little traveling to get to, for our cricket grounds itself, South London, both Southwest and Southeast, to get to the cricket ground. And the second one, I tell you, is in Dulwich Village. That's a new project. We're working there along with Lambeth Tigers Football Club.
Yes,
and a number of other projects. It's a massive project, and they have done well by us. And we will be there for 30 years. It's a 30 years lease.
Wonderful.
King's College Trust, I think it is.
I know them.
And we've got the ground. It's a pretty nice place. And we're hoping to get a third ground, because we've got about 15 cricket clubs in Southeast London. Yeah. And we need to get accommodation for these grounds, stop them traveling out to London to play, long distances to play, so that we can get our young people locally to be involved.
Excellent.
And they don't have to travel far to play cricket. In the olden days, in my time, we traveled. But the youngsters now, they're not going to travel, and they're quite right. There are other things to do with their life as well. So we've got these two grounds, and I say they're working hard to get some others for us.
Excellent.
And they're going to fund us in different, get us equipment, pay for the grounds, help our administration. There are a number of things that they've done so far, and they're going to do more.
Brilliant.
That's a sorry. We've also managed to get two representatives on the Surrey Foundation.
Excellent.
2 Caribbean representatives.
Excellent.
Prior to that, we did not have any. We didn't have a voice. Like I said, we were excluded. But now we've got two representatives.
Brilliant.
I don't know how well they will do there, but we have 2 representatives.
Well, it's a start, you know?
Yes.
So tell me, if I made a non-style, if I made it just so we can just develop where we're going with the cricket as a game. Okay. I know you've discussed the grounds. Can we just now talk about the people? So is cricket intended for boys only, or is there a strand of work that is designed to encourage girls to take up cricket, for example?
The women in our community, I don't know, in our organization, the women are central. Yeah. I work on this principle. I'm an older black fella. Without the women, nothing happens. Right? And that's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, we guys don't like to admit it, but it's a fact. They are the driving forces. They are the driving forces in our communities.
Always, yeah, always.
I mean, when I go to meetings, I take at least one woman with me.
Indeed.
Right? And they also could say things that we can't say and get away with.
Get away with it. I understand.
And we have quite a few bright women in our organization, and we've given them authority to do things. Absolutely. We had a fundraiser last week, run mainly by the women, is successful.
Yeah.
They were able to bring in over 200 people.
Wow.
Within the space of 3 weeks.
Good grief.
So they have that integral part, and we intend to next year all going well, and organizations like yours are helping us to get the young men and women. We're hoping to run some training sessions from our Dulwich ground on Sunday mornings. Initially, it will start free of charge. We like to have young women and young men.
Very good.
And it's a very difficult thing for us, because lots of people say to us, going to schools. Yeah. When we go into schools, the schools have young men and women from different communities. Yes. And you cannot go into school and only choose African Caribbean. It's not going to go down well. However, we don't have the resources to take charge of all the communities in those schools. Unfortunately, the English Cricket Board, they started giving funds out. I call it in the apartheid manner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
There are a number of communities that play this game in England, but they picked out the Salvation community because they said lots and lots of Salvation are playing the game, and they funded them, I think, to the tune of £4.5 million over 4 or 5 years.
Really?
At the same time, we got nothing. We got nothing. And as I said earlier, I found that very difficult to understand and to accept. It came down to negligence, or as you say, institutional racism. Because if they know we were cricket lovers, and we were cricket lovers up to 20 years or so ago.
Indeed.
They also should know, like most of them are businessmen that run the cricket. If I have a business, or you've got a business, and you receive good support from a community, and suddenly that community stop using your business, as a good business person, you'll try to find out why they are not using my business anymore. Yes. What the ECB did is to ignore it. So I tend to go on the side that it was deliberate.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And we've been excluded for that length of time. And our cricket has suffered. Lots of young men and women didn't get the opportunity to play. We're now trying to reintroduce it, and we're getting a lot of support from those young people.
Brilliant. Sorry. How many young people now involved? You said around 200 or more? Or?
No. We managed to be part of a program run by Surrey County Cricket Club. It's now a charity called the African Caribbean Engagement Program.
All right. Yes. Chevy. Yes, indeed.
Chevy. And they have nearly 200 young people. Really? And it's expanding because they're going out to Bristol, Manchester, Nottingham. Yeah. Yes. And this is because there's a need in those areas. Young people want to play the game in Birmingham. Yeah. And of late, there's a bit of difference in the way cricket is played in London by our clubs and the way it's played out of London by our clubs. Most of our clubs outside of London, they've got access to cricket grounds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Bristol, they've got their own. Birmingham, they've got their own. Leicester, they've got a massive ground. Sheffield, Leeds, Nottingham, Coventry, they've all got their own grounds. Of course, with no funding, some of those grounds, especially the pavilions, have become dilapidated, and some of them have been condemned. Yeah. We're working with the ECB to try and put that right. Obviously, it's a lot of money to spend, so it will take a couple of years or more to put all of that neglect right. Okay. I've met a couple of individuals who, the head of investment for facilities, she's been very good, very friendly, and she's been helping us to try and get those grounds right.
Brilliant, brilliant.
But those grounds outside of London, they've got beautiful places to play, but they've been neglected with funding. Having said that,
if I may, just take you in a slightly different direction now. Of course, as you've rightly said, there are many young people who will watch this program, say, but I've never played cricket before. I don't know what it's like. Are you able, being ex-cricketer yourself, to relate why the game of cricket is as good, if not better, than playing football or rugby. What is special?
Well, like most things, we have a brand of cricket in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And it's passed down through the generation. We've played the Caribbean way, which is attacking, aggressive cricket.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't accepted here 20, 30, 40 years ago, but now that's the way everybody wants to play.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Unfortunately, they virtually killed our game. We haven't died. We're here and we're going to make a great comeback. Our youngsters will, with the assistance from the various communities, be able to earn some of that vast sum of money that's out there paying these young cricketers. Yeah. And I hope young cricketers born and bred in England, I have no beef with people being brought into play, yeah, from the Caribbean. But the life of cricket is going to be those born and bred here.
Agreed. If I may, you said and described Caribbean cricket being aggressive, attacking cricket, and I know what you mean because I used to play it. And I've watched it, and I've watched the great player demonstrate that attacking type of cricket. But for those youngsters, they don't know what we mean. Because I know what you mean, but they don't know what you mean. So when you say attacking cricket as opposed to other styles, just give them some idea of the comparison between the style from the Caribbean and the style typically found.
But it's also a game that our cricket involves the spectators.
Okay, go ahead.
That as a spectator, you can get just as much fun in the collective as playing.
Yes. Okay.
And playing is getting the joy of it in a cricket ball far.
Yes.
Get the joy of it in a cricket ball on a regular basis. Joy of catching the ball.
Yes.
Joy of throwing the ball. This is a collective game. The joy of scoring runs, or being praised by others.
That's right.
Or ridiculed by others. Yeah?
Yes.
And it's a collective game, and it's a collective activity. Those on the field will get just as much fun as those who are off the field. I mean, this season I've been to quite a few of these Caribbean club matches when one Caribbean side play against the other Caribbean side. And these games will start at 1 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, there is mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, and all the children present with the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can see it's a great community affair, right? And like I say, we play the game it's a cultural thing with us. I'm not saying the other people don't do it their way, but we have a brand. A brand that no matter how you try to kill it, it will be there because that's us. That's the way that we probably have a brand of football, but that's being squeezed, right? But it's very difficult to squeeze our brand of cricket. And like I say, it is now the vogue to play aggressive cricket like we do in the Caribbean.
Yeah, you see,
with the crowd involvement.
The fast bowlers, and I developed a technique to bowl and to make it jump, to make the ball.
Yeah. Well, that is all. I mean, they hated us for doing when we did successfully, and they tried to demean us.
Yeah.
But the same thing with the crowds. We were too boisterous, right? And that's what they do now.
Well, and that's the point. I recall going to, when I was a youngster, going to an English cricket team and watching them. it was quiet. Barely anyone spoke to each other, do you know?
Yes.
I recall this bowler would do some slow ball, and we'd hoping the ball would twist a bit. And the chappie kind of like that. It was all very sedate. There was no emotion involved. There was no atmosphere. There was no cut and thrust. It was such a different experience to going to, I used to live in, you may know Mansfield Park. Remember Mansfield Park in Lewisham? That's where we used to play cricket. Oh my dear. Now, when we played cricket, my brother Marcus now, he could bowl good. My brother he's a fast bowler, just like Michael Marshall. Able to watch him bowl. He was able to get, well, four wickets in 4 balls. He did it regularly. It was such a powerful bowler, a pleasure to behold. It's such a pleasurable experience to behold. And I think what you've been able to demonstrate, that cricket is not just for the individual, it's a collective experience, and it's not just for the teams, but for the whole family experience. Yeah. Okay. So,
but you know, when we were doing this, and when we arrived here, I hate to say it, when they like to spot us on, when the boat came in 1948, and everything surrounds the boat coming in 1948. But there were so many boats before, centuries before, but everything is pasted on to 1948. Okay, if they want to do, I'll go along with that. When we landed there in 1948, there was not one black, well-known British-born cricketer.
It's true, yeah, it's true.
We had footballers, boxers, runners, right? There wasn't one well-known British-born black cricketer. The first one to play for England, 1981, was Roland Butcher, and he was born in Barbados. Since then, there could be British-born. There might be 5 or 6. That says to me, that sends a message to me. We've always been outside of the game, right? But we managed to get a number of young men as professionals. That has been completely wiped away. They brought a system in they call the academy system, like the schools, except this one. I mean, I told you this before, where I had said that it was a deliberate ploy on the part of the cricket authorities to bring these academies into being. But a well-known journalist told me, Lonsdale, you're giving them too much credit. They are not that bright. What they've done, at the age of 15, they make a decision as to whether you are going to be a professional cricketer. You remember at the age of 11, they decided whether you're going to be, how good you're going to be at school.
It's true, the 11 plus, yes.
And that fell down. That fell down, and that was proven to be something terrible. Well, they did the same thing a few years later with cricket. At the age of 15, deciding what your future was going to be at 15. And our young people that were playing had to compete against these young people from fee-paying independent schools who play cricket virtually 12 months a year. Our young people that go to state schools, they were played a couple of months, if that much, right? They didn't have the facilities. Now it's so unfair at the age of 15 to match a youngster from a state school with these young men that go to this fee-paying school. They're well coached. They're always going to win. The result of that is that most of the young professionals are those who went to fee-paying schools, independent schools. And we've been completely blocked out, right? In addition, in the old days, if you were a very good club player, you constantly get runs in your local competition or your games. word will get to the local county that we have a good player within our county and we need to give him an opportunity. And they will go and play for the county second 11. Yeah? And we have quite a few of those in South London. They will go and play for the county second 11. They might play for Surrey, Essex, Middlesex, Kent. And when they go and play with the professionals, they brought back good practices. So our clubs will get better for it. That ceased well over 20 years ago. So we've missed out on all of that. Yeah. We used to get regular inputs from these young men who went to play the professionals. I'll say bring back really good practices. Sometimes bad practices too, but but generally good practices. We don't have that. So when I go around to look at these club games, I could see how our game has deteriorated, right? Because we regularly produced first-class players and players that play for county second 11s. We had some wonderful players in my time. I can attest to that. But now there are a few, but they're not to that standard. And we have a very it's a long-term job to get our game up to what it used to be.
So if I made that point, you described, so you've got parents, mothers and fathers listening to you now, they've got their sons and daughters, they've now decided, having listened to your description of cricket and the involvement and its benefits, okay, and now want to encourage their sons and daughters to attend one of the clubs, okay. First of all, how can they contact yourselves, okay? And then secondly, what is the level of obligation from the parent in support of their child so they can attend your club? So first of all, how can they contact yourself, first of all?
Well, I've got a phone number. Unfortunately, our website's down at the moment. We hope to get it going again. They can contact me, but like I said, because we didn't have we didn't have a ground, but now we've got two, and we definitely got one, but we're hoping to start coaching these young people from, we'll say, May next year in numbers. We can accommodate them and work with them. Prior to that, we did it, but we were dependent on people giving us access to grounds on the odd occasion, so we could not do it consistently.
I understand.
And we have to be fair to parents. We cannot start something which we couldn't sustain, right? But we will be able to sustain it at the Griffin ground from May next year on a regular basis. And we will be grateful if you can assist us in getting those parents who are interested.
Yes.
To bring their young people along. It will be, I think initially it'll be free, right? Thereafter, they will have to pay us a fee to get the coaches, etc. But the organization will meet the first few months of the coaching while we get the young people in. But we would like to get them anywhere we can, yeah? But more importantly, I haven't mentioned this, there is a commission led by Cindy Butts, a Black woman, into cricket. And that commission has been working along since, I think, June last year. And they were hoping to report June this year. But the last information I received is going to come out in October, November. Yeah? But she's already signaled that it's not going to be a very nice report for the English Cricket Board.
And if I may, Longsome, did you say that Cindy Butts?
Yes. Yes.
B-double-T-S, is that right?
Yes, B-U-T-T-S. I think she's well known in the civil service education field. Okay. But she's been working along with 4 others. And this report should come out. She's taken evidence from a number of different sources, cricket clubs, ex-Black professionals, committee members. It's a far-wide report. and wide region report rather, and we're waiting for his publication.
Okay, and
yeah.
You say far-reaching report to look at the state of the English and Welsh Cricket Board
as it relates to racism.
Okay. Oh, I've just found her now. So the English, I've got here, the Board of England and Wales Cricket Board, ECB, has taken a significant step forward to ensuring cricket is a game for everyone, with the appointment of Cindy Butts to establish and chair the Independent Commission for Equality in Cricket, which will examine issues relating to race and equality in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. I see here, I'll just read on this other part of the article. Ms. Butts has extensive experience in senior roles spanning governance, inclusion, and equality across justice, policy, and policing sectors and government. Her current role includes serving as a lay member of the House of Lords Conduct Committee, a member of the Speakers Committee for the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority, and as a panel chair for the Judicial Appointment Commission. Wow. Mm. She's a woman with real credentials.
Yes, and she has a trade unionist, mm-hmm. a lecturer from UCL, an ex-England cricketer.
Yes.
And she has a panel, I think it's 5 of them. And they've been working along, and the report should come out. Yeah.
Please, when it comes out, send a notification to me. I'd love to study it.
I tell you what, when it comes out, it will hit the press.
I suspect, yes. I suspect.
No, it will. I mean, I have the impression it's not going to be a very complimentary report to the English Cricket Board. Yeah, I mean, the man who I think asked for it, since he's long gone, right? But it's there. It's doing it. Look, they've excluded the African Caribbean, but they've also excluded working class whites, right? And if you are going to exclude working class whites, that's quite a sizable percentage of the population.
Absolutely. Right. And I think you just hit on something which an issue which I've found repeatedly is the case. You see, once a group of people are allowed to practice discriminatory behavior in an institution, invariably that institution develops a habit of discrimination. So first of all, they start with one group, then they proceed to other groups of people. And very often it's based upon economic value. So working class people, who are the majority population in Britain, I might add.
By far.
Okay. They themselves find themselves discriminated against. You know? Lots of discrimination against women, you know, but that's tackled head on, you know. And that's why often when I observe the institutional racism, and I watch sometimes some white working class people believe, well, it doesn't affect us, so they're not concerned. I always say to them, hey, they're coming from my community. Hey, it's highly unlikely they'll come next.
You know? Yes. You know,
and it's a slow lesson for them to learn, but invariably, those who practice discriminatory behavior become addicted to power. Okay.
Yes, and you know, we also have very few who are employed by the English Cricket Board as well. Yeah, it goes right through the game. And the various counties, there are very few representatives that sit on the management committees.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When you put out figures, they get upset, right? And what the papers don't ask, when they do have like a 3 or 4%, where do they work, right? And many years ago, I was employed by Croydon Council. And we asked questions there. And they said, we told us some like 20%. And then the real question, where are they working? We found out they were all cleaners, most of them.
Yep.
And the people lost their jobs. The people lost their jobs. So since then, I've been very careful when I ask those questions, because it wasn't meant for that. It was meant to just find out where these people are based, where they're working. But because the numbers were so high, they sacked them. Now, I have to be very careful. I don't want people to lose their income. I cannot feed them, right? So those questions, but we don't have representation. I'm sorry, there are a few.
Okay, yeah? I really want to get, but it's really, you made a profound observation. First of all, Lonsdale, I've got to tell you, if you're saying that you shouldn't ask the question, I've got to really disagree with you. It is absolutely essential for each of these government-funded institutions, you ask the questions, what is your adherence to the equalities legislation? How many people with protected characteristics work for you? It is an essential question to ask. How many women? How many people with disabilities? How many ethnic minorities? How many people who are gay? How many people who are elderly work for your institution? And at what level? It is absolutely essential you ask that question. If you don't and you fail to ask that question, you are allowing, again, this tendency of this little winding of bells for those who hold power to consolidate power around themselves. And unless you expose it, unless it's exposed, they will continue their practices. You know?
Yes, Martin, what I meant was not that I wasn't going to ask the question, but I have to be careful because I don't want those 20% that are cleaners to lose their jobs.
No. Hold on. If they lose their jobs, that's a court action.
Okay. Yes, I know, but not you. You know it, right? You look. I'm not saying don't question it, because I will question it. I will question it. But like I said, when I asked the ECB, I did an article. I asked the ECB. I went on their website, and they said less than one. I don't know what that is, right? But when the article was published, they got hold of the newspaper and said it's wrong. We have 3%. Yeah. But what they weren't able to say, what they did not tell the newspaper, what the newspaper did not ask, where does the 3% work? What are their jobs? Right? But obviously, if you do an article and they come back that way, the only way you can get about the correct where those people are employed, you have to write another article. Absolutely. Right? But the whole thing is, we were excluded. And to the extent we were excluded, like I said earlier, I have the belief that it was intentional.
Of course it was. Yes, of course.
Right? They didn't like our brand. Our brand was too boisterous.
No, but let's get it right. Not so much they didn't like our brand. What it is the competition. You see, Britain had incredible potential. Particularly here in London, with such a diverse communities. The potential when you get these communities in one is incredible. Therefore, if you've been a group of people who've always dominated, fee-paying schools, etc., okay. What they were seeking to do is to undermine the competition our communities offered those youngsters who go to fee-paying schools and playing cricket. Because I can assure you, there were many in my primary and my secondary schools who were more than capable to play for England, for the ECB. They could more than capable, but Britain never benefited from their talent. And as a result, Britain lost ground in cricket worldwide as a result. They damaged Great Britain PLC through their
it is so I mean, if you look at the relatively recent history of it, our cricketers most of the working organizations, especially the public services, had cricket teams. In London, we had the whole of London Transport.
Yes.
Every garage had a cricket team. They gave them time off to play cricket. That's all gone. So of the grounds. The British Rail had cricket teams and grounds. They've all gone. The post office, the same thing, right? And most of those guys, they were Caribbean cricket lovers that played in those teams. So that section's been wiped out completely, and so have the grounds. Yeah, we suffered the most. Also, the white working class, the same thing. The factories had cricket teams, but that's all gone. And the cricket establishment must have known that this was happening. They should have put things in place. That's what I'm saying. It could have been a deliberate act. So what we have now is down to a very small percentage of the people playing the professional game, getting millions out of it. Yeah, some of those young men that are playing now will earn 1.5 million, right? We have very few British-born professional cricketers, very, very few. And it will take quite a few years to get them there in numbers. Yeah, but our cricket clubs have got to play a part. Because in my opinion, without our cricket clubs, we are not going to get those players.
Okay, so let's do this now. So my only question is, how can parents and others contact you? Either an email address or a telephone number?
Well, you've got my email address. You can hand it out freely. You've got my mobile number. You can hand it out freely.
Sure.
Right? If the parents are genuine and they want their young people, I mean, because of what we do, we said African Caribbean. Some people get really upset and accuse us of racist, right? So, but look, it is not. It's for Caribbean people, right? It's for Caribbean people. Whatever your ethnicity is, Caribbean people, right? We cannot look after the world. We don't have the resources for the world. And we did not set out to be looking after the world. We've been forced into doing what we're doing because of the way that the governing body have been putting out resources, right? So I want people out there to understand, we are not discriminating. We're just trying to get our young people playing again, and we have very little resources. Yeah.
I think that's perfectly reasonable, if I may say so. But what you're really describing is a situation in which within our own community, the love for cricket had been in decline, and we're now seeking for our family networks to revive cricket within the community. And you set up an organization, the African and Caribbean Cricket Association, with that strategic objective in mind, to encourage children from our family networks to play cricket. Okay, and I think that's perfectly reasonable. And
to support it, and to support it,
of course, and to support it wherever possible. Now, what I'm going to do, I will give out your details in a moment. I just want to just take us just one more step. What is your...
Now, before you go, Martin, okay. During the year, we have two celebratory games. The African Caribbean Cricket Association. Our first celebratory game for the year is going to be on the 31st of July, which we call the Emancipation Cricket Match.
Good for you.
We would like to play it on the 1st of August, but we don't have a national holiday yet, yes. Right? Okay, so the closest Sunday to the 1st of August, we play the Emancipation Cricket Match. This year, we played it over in South Hampstead. Yeah? And I will probably get a leaflet to you so you can put it around for us. We'll have 2 teams of young people. They're going to be under 21. There'll probably be some girls as well. The game will start They probably have 2 games. We'll start at 12:30 and we'll go on until dark. There'll be Caribbean food and drink on sale. Yeah, entry free. Southampton Cricket Club in Kilburn, right? And that's the 1st to 31st of July. The second one is a memorial match at Battersea Ironside on the 21st of August. That's in Wandsworth, Burntwood Lane. And that's a similar event. And we normally get about 300 or 400 people turning up. Like I say, it's a lively Caribbean day. Yeah, no charge.
No charge.
Right? No charge. You just bring yourself along, bring your family. Good day for the kids as well. Wonderful. We'll have a bouncy castle on both occasions. And some workers are looking after the young people.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a really good announcement. And if I may, Lonsdale, on your Facebook page, okay, you've got a telephone number quoted there. Is that one still operational? That's the 028 number, 0208 764 3651.
Yes, that's still.
Yep, okay. So I'll give that number out. I'll give that slower this time. So
yeah, preferably there is you got my mobile number. That's easier.
You're okay with me giving your mobile number? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, then let me do that as well, and I'll do this nice and slowly, just so that those of you who want to go away and get your pens and paper, and those of you who are more modern type might get your mobile phone. Okay, so you ready? I'm now going to give out Lonsdale a mobile number. You can contact Lonsdale directly. So if you want to attend a game or you want to participate, you've got a son or daughter, a niece or a nephew or a cousin or a friend who you think would find cricket a good way to occupy their time, particularly now entering the 6 weeks holiday, this is a good opportunity. So the number to contact Lonsdale directly is as follows: 07834 27308. That looks as if I'm one number short for some reason, doesn't it?
Yes, 81. Yeah. The last number is 1.
81, that's fine. Yeah, 81. Not sure what the one missing here for some reason. I knew that was missing. Okay, so I'll repeat the number. So the number to call is 07834 273 081. Either phone or text would be right for you as well, Lonsdale. Phone or text Lonsdale, and he will give you.
That's fine.
He'll give you the details. I see here on the Facebook page there's an email address in INXOX. Are you familiar with that one, Lonsdale?
No. Like I say, our email address, you can give them my email address. This is lonsdaleskinner@aol.com.
Okay, so lonsdaleskinner@aol.com. Okay, and just for clarity purposes, for those in terms of Lonsdale, it's spelled LONSDALE. I say Lonsdale, it's LONSDALE. Skinner, SKINNER. So it's Lonsdale Skinner. There's no space or dot. It's Lonsdale Skinner at AOL.com, which is a very old email address, I gather. Lonsdale, huh?
Oh yes, I'm not changing it.
I remember many years ago. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I've had it a long time. Yeah.
I hear you. Now, I just realized the time, and I keep doing this. I haven't given out the telephone number. I'll give out the telephone number if anyone does want to call. We've only got a few minutes, though, mind you. But I know that the recordings will be repeated many times, so it's fine. So the number to call if anyone wants to interact with Lonsdale on the subject of cricket and the merits and beauty of that game, the number to call the studio is 0208 133 5616. I repeat the number to call the studio: 0208 133 5616. Okay, if you wish to speak to Lonsdale, we can. Make sure we've got the phone up and running. Okay, and I think we're now sort of closing minutes now, Lonsdale. Any other particular message you want to make sure is communicated to the audience today about cricket, the organisation? What is it you need to be assured of success into the future? What do you need from the community?
Simple. Their support.
Okay.
Simple. Their support. If we as a community work together, we can get the cricket establishment to respond to our needs. Yeah. The cricket establishment, they're beginning to do it, but and we've got quite a bit of support. But the more we get, the better it is. Yeah. And the more they'll hear from us and see. They're trying, like I say, when that report comes out, I'm absolutely certain a few feathers will be ruffled, right? And it's called an equitable commission. Now, you know that's different from equality. So there is, the term has a lot of problems with it, in my opinion, right? Because, you know, but that's what they choose to go. I questioned it and they told me, no, it is not equality. So fine. I love it. Right.
Of course, the English aristocracy and cricket are intimately interlinked. So, of course, those attitudes still pervade the ECB, I would imagine.
Even more so. But they've actually, I think at one time, they lost a bit of a grip on it, but now they've got total control of it, right? And there's some people in there with some very archaic ideas, right? And I'm afraid we don't come out very well with them. And it's going to be a fight for us to get the respect that should be given to us. We do have a representative, but probably not our representative. There is a black person presently on that committee, but you know.
You have any idea how that person got on the committee? Do you know how that person got onto the committee?
No, I don't know. I know she's there.
Oh wow! But we
don't know she's
there. Wow. I think that says it's all.
She's a well-known person. We have Baroness Amos on the committee there at Lords, yeah. And that's it. I'm sorry, there are a few, I have to say. I mean, sorry, you've been moving quite quickly to put things right, yeah. And I suppose I have to give credit to the chairman of Surrey County Cricket Club. He's actually gone to the front and he's making some changes. Like I said, I wish you the best of luck because there's going to be opposition, right? But he's making some changes. They have a CEO who from what I'm hearing, would like the black community to get more involved in what happens at Surrey, to attend cricket matches. I can tell you this, so far this year, I have been given, 2 matches in June. I was given 1,600 tickets to share out in the community. And last Wednesday, I was given another 300-400 to share out free. So they're trying to attract the Caribbean community into the Oval again.
Wonderful.
You know, and we're going to ask for concessions in there as well for our businesses.
Excellent. Now, that's what I like to hear, but I have a point that relates to businesses and stimulating.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you know, we want to be an integral part of what's going on in there. So they need to take us in fully.
Brilliant.
And the same thing we will be pushing at the ECB when there are test matches. We have concessions in there. And not only in London. It's going to be, I mean, I told you about our representation on the county boards. We're asking for representation on every county board.
Brilliant.
And representation on each management committee. And we will be asking for concessions at all the grounds.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's only right. I mean,
absolutely.
We've been here a while. Right? So we're asking for us to be seen like any other grouping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But here again, we'll need support from organizations like yours. We can't do it by ourselves. We've recognized that, right? And we're trying our best to get as much as possible for our young people. This is all for our young people.
I want to thank you. Because this is music to my ears. Okay, as I said, this is the Motivator Show, where we translate words into action. And what you're demonstrating is action. You're not just discussing these matters, you're doing it. You're delivering on behalf of the community. So it's incumbent upon the community to give you as much support as required so you can continue to deliver on behalf of the community. This has been tremendous. And what I'm inspired by is that, as you know, during the week, it wasn't yourself who was going to be here. I won't call the other name, okay? And it's just fate that you and I spoke. I knew intuitively.
Martin, like I said, I know of you. I've met you. We've had discussions about the cricket ground at the back of Peckham, right? Right? Which you've been instrumental, not only in getting to them, but in them keeping it. Yeah? Sometime later on, I'll talk to you about the possibility of getting some money so we can put up a pavilion.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. Just have those ambitions.
Put up a pavilion because I think it's a beautiful setting where it is. With a bit of money, it will look exceptional. And I think once we get it done up, people are going to want to grab it.
I know that.
It is lovely where it is now. Just a few thousands of pounds, yeah, and it will look. It's a great setting, right? You come out from you go to the back of Peckham, and there is this big expanse of greenery. And I know you've worked very hard for a number of years to get it as it is.
With others, not just me by myself.
No, you could say others. I've met you and I've had discussions with you about that's what I'm saying. You, I don't know the others. I only know you.
Accepted, and thank you. I know we're drawing to a close now, Lonsdale. Do you want to say anything in closing to the audience? You said you need their support. We've given out your telephone number. Okay, and I'll give it out again before I close the program. Any other issues, any other matters? Just want to make sure it's clearly understood by the community why cricket is important and how it serves us as a community. Any closing?
Well, I can tell you this. Historically, it's the thing that kept us together in the Caribbean. Historically, the thing that kept us together in Britain when we first came. That's where we gathered. That's what we love. That's what kept us going, right? And it's never left us. It has never left us. And when I go around to the grounds, it is evident it hasn't left us. And I see how those people, those older people out there bringing the children and grandchildren to get involved, introduce them not only to playing, but being spectators, to see the joy that they get out of it and what more, if they put in what they can get out of it. It is also a sport that it's life learning, right? It is something that you can use in other fields. You know, if you want to be in any sport, you have to learn to be disciplined, concentrate when you're doing it, take the ups with the downs. Yeah. When things are good, you enjoy it. When things are bad, you work out how to come back to be good again. Right. So it's about life.
It is most
and cricket is all about life. And the way we play it is about our life.
Absolutely. With passion. Yes.
Yes. And joy and
yes.
boisterous and
Absolutely.
Visibly. And, you know, people have I'm not be careful. The host people are now beginning to understand why we jumped around, screamed, beat drums, the joys of it. It's finally getting through to them. And they want us back there to help them get the joy out of the game.
English cricket has suffered because we've not been a part.
Look. They've got a group called the Barmy Army that goes around the world with them, with bugles and drums, right? We couldn't have bugles and drums at the Oval because they took them away.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Now they're asking people to go in with bugles and drums.
It's ridiculous. Oh.
So we were like most things, we were the forerunners. Yeah,
exactly. Well,
there you go.
I'm going to thank you. This has been truly informational. I'll give out your details, and I'll keep giving out your details in following weeks. I'll distribute it more than 100,000 my distribution list across the country, and I'm anticipating that you will receive calls both from parents, young people, those who aspire to be cricketers, or simply seeking a new hobby. And
like I say, our organization is not only London-based. We are looking after the interest the best we can for all the African Caribbean cricketers in the country.
Right. Yes, that's right.
It's a struggle, but I tell you what, we will keep trying.
I'm there with you, Lonsdale.
Well, I know that, Martin. You're a good man down in. I don't say Southwark. You're a good man down in Peckham there.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. I want to thank you. Thank you very much for being a really.
Now, let me thank you for having me. And anytime you need me, just give me a call. You supported cricket in Peckham, and I'm willing to support you wherever your endeavors are. Yeah.
Very much. Work together. We cannot lose. Thank you.
Yes.
Good day.
Okay, you take care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Pleasure. Bye. Bye. Well, that was Lonsdale Skinner of the African Caribbean Cricket Association. And if you wish to get involved with cricket, either as a spectator, just want to know where the various matches are, or wish to participate yourself, or have a son or daughter or niece or nephew or a cousin who wish to get involved in cricket, please contact Lonsdale. And I'll give you the number. The number to call, it's 07 834 273 081. Okay, give them a call or send them a text, and he will respond to you. He's the cricket man. He's our cricket man. Okay, and this applies not just for men, I might add. This is also for girls, for women as well. But I've watched a few women's cricket, and they're pretty vigorous indeed. I have to tell you, very competitive environments. I've got to say, very, very competitive. And they'll give the men a good run for their money. That's for certain. There's no doubt about that. So, women's cricket is really, really launching off these days. But nevertheless, it's a good opportunity for our youngsters to have an activity to which it redirects their attention, teach them discipline, keeps them focused. It enables them to plan, develop a whole range of skills, but also socialization as well, you know, working as a team member, thinking strategically, forming plans, implementing those plans, a strategic plan to win a cricket game. And with men such as Lonsdale involved, you can be assured success is indeed assured. So I commend the African and Caribbean Cricket Association to you all. And I hope you will make contact with him and with the association, and I hope you get involved. And when you do, please give me a call. Just tell us how you got on, what the experience was like. Just share the testimony. As we had the earlier testimony from a listener who listened to the show and responded to the words that We've got to exercise. We've got to eat properly, eat appropriately for our physiology. Sitting down, doing no exercise is bad for your long-term health. Yeah. Simple messages. You heard the words, the voice of Professor Hilary Beckles, and he's describing the catastrophic health situation in the Caribbean amongst Africans there. Okay, 60% of families with either diabetes or hypertension. Okay, he didn't talk about weight and overweight and obesity being another factor. Most certainly the case I know in the US and also here in Britain. These are important matters for us to discuss. It's so important, it is so important that I've got to keep repeating these messages to you again and again until I hear you all responding in tune, in chorus. Yes, we've heard the message, we've heard the cry, and have responded to you. We've responded to you, demotivator. Yeah, and have said you've translated these words into action. And I want to emphasize, success is ours for the taking. Remember, success is ours for the taking. So that's the end of my show for today. That was a truly inspirational experience. I want to thank Lonsdale. I want to thank you all for listening. And those of you on YouTube or Facebook, pass on the link to this program to your friends and families and associates. Let them hear these messages. This is our community speaking to our community in a positive, uplifting, empowering way. Let those messages be received. Let's keep responding positively to each other. I say to you all, stay strong and prosper and live in good health because you've taken deliberate action to ensure your health is maintained. So until the next strong, I am Demotivator, where we translate words into action. And I believe this week is Sister Shasonra is on after me. So please, if you're listening via galaxyofreeweek.net, please keep listening to that program, because I know she'll have a really inspiring show this time round. So thank you to you all. Until next strong, I am Demotivator. Praise Jah, Rastafari.